First story. After my mom gambled away our rent money and lied for months, we were $3,200 behind on rent and facing eviction. Furious and betrayed, I confronted her and told her she deserved to be homeless. Now I'm left grappling with the consequences of her actions and my response. This evening, after a long day at work, I walked into a situation that left me completely stunned. As I entered our small subsidized townhome shared with my mom and brother, I found a letter from the housing authority sitting in the mailbox. The bold print on the envelope caught my attention immediately, and a sinking feeling settled in my stomach as I opened it. Inside was a formal notice stating we were $3,200 behind on rent, with a warning about possible eviction. I could hardly process the words. Eviction. How could this be? Our rent is $1,185 a month, and I've been diligently sending my mom $650 at the end of each month to cover my share. Beyond that, I handle most of the groceries, pay for our internet and cable, and keep my car fueled up for work. My brother, on the other hand, doesn't contribute a single cent. He's been unemployed for ages, with no urgency to change that. Feeling a mix of confusion and dread, I walked into the house to confront my mom. The question was simple. How could we possibly be this far behind on rent? At first, she tried to deflect, mumbling something about rising costs and unexpected bills. But I wasn't letting it go. I pressed harder, demanding an explanation. Finally, she sighed heavily and admitted the truth. For the past 4 months, she hadn't been paying her portion of the rent. Worse, she had been dipping into my contributions to cover what she called necessities. Her list of necessities floored me. While she did mention essential utilities like hydro and electricity, she casually included cartons of cigarettes, frequent takeout meals, and, most infuriating of all, gambling. She confessed she had been using the rent money to fund her gambling habit, hoping to win big and fix the arrears before I noticed. Clearly, that didn't happen. I was furious. My voice shook as I told her how selfish her actions were. She had gambled away not just her money, but mine as well, jeopardizing the roof over our heads without even giving me the chance to help. If she had just been honest about the situation, I could have stepped in and paid more to cover the shortfall. But instead, she chose deceit, prioritizing her vices over our stability. I didn't hold back. I told her point blank that she was a selfish mother and that my respect for her was gone. I added, perhaps harshly, that if we ended up evicted, she deserved to be homeless for the choices she made. I emphasized how reckless it was to gamble away money we couldn't afford to lose, all while hiding the truth from me. I told her that if eviction became a reality, I had my boyfriend to turn to, but she and my brother would be on their own. Now here's where my emotions started to twist. As much as I was boiling with anger, a small part of me felt a pang of guilt. Life is undeniably hard right now, and I know how tough it can be to make ends meet. Maybe telling my own mother she deserved to be homeless was too cruel, especially if she truly felt desperate. But then again, how could I feel sympathy for someone who prioritized takeout and cigarettes over her own children's stability? In the back of my mind, I kept questioning myself. Was I too harsh? Did I let my anger override compassion? Or was my reaction justified, considering the betrayal and irresponsibility? I don't know how to process it all, but the weight of what she's done is suffocating. I'm left wondering if I overreacted or if, given the circumstances, my words were fair. At the end of the day, one thing is clear. Trust, once broken, is incredibly hard to rebuild. And right now, I don't know if I can ever see her the same way again. Second story. I saved for months to gift my sister a dream honeymoon, but she banned my girlfriend from her wedding, so I decided to cancel the gift. Weddings are supposed to bring families closer, but sometimes they reveal unexpected cracks in relationships. Let me explain. I'm a 32-year-old guy with one younger sister, who's 28. We've always been pretty close, so when she announced her engagement, I couldn't have been happier for her. I wanted to show her how much I supported her and her fiancé, so I decided to gift them something memorable. A dream honeymoon. After saving for months, I surprised her with the offer. She was ecstatic, and we worked together to pick a destination. Everything was set, flights booked, a luxurious hotel reserved, and some exciting excursions planned. It felt good knowing I could give her such a special gift. Things started to shift about 3 weeks before the wedding. My sister called me up, and I thought it would be just a casual chat. Instead, she dropped a bombshell. "We've decided to scale things down and have a backyard ceremony," she said. While I was surprised, I supported her decision. It's her wedding, after all. But then she added something that caught me completely off guard. "Oh, by the way, we're inviting only immediate family, so you can come, but your girlfriend can't." For context, my girlfriend and I have been together for 5 years. She's not just someone I'm dating, she's practically part of the family. My parents love her, and my sister had always been friendly with her, so the exclusion felt out of the blue. I tried to talk to my sister about it, asking why she'd decided this so last minute. Her response? "We're keeping it small, and I hope you can understand." My girlfriend was understandably hurt. She'd been looking forward to celebrating with my family, and now she was suddenly uninvited. Still, she told me not to make a fuss about it. So we decided to let it go. I showed up to the wedding alone, but the whole thing felt off. It was a nice ceremony, sure, but there was an unshakable awkwardness in the air. It was hard not to notice how my girlfriend's absence left a void for me. After the wedding, my sister approached me with an excited smile. She asked when she and her new husband would be receiving the honeymoon details. That's when I told her the truth. I had decided not to go through with the gift. I explained that it didn't sit right with me, that my girlfriend was excluded from such an important event, yet I was still expected to give them such a significant gift. The change in her expression was immediate. Her excitement turned to anger, and she accused me of being petty and selfish. "How could you do this to us?" she snapped. "You're ruining what's supposed to be the happiest time of my life." Things escalated quickly. My parents got involved, telling me that I was in the wrong. According to them, family comes first, and I should have just sucked it up. They implied that my girlfriend wasn't really family, so it wasn't a big deal to leave her out. Now, I'm stuck questioning whether I handled this the right way. My girlfriend has been incredibly supportive and thinks I did the right thing by standing my ground. But my parents and sister see me as the villain in this story, accusing me of letting something small overshadow their big moment. It's left me wondering, was I justified in canceling the honeymoon gift, or did I overreact? Third story. My coworker thought my bruises were signs of abuse. His obsession spiraled out of control, leading to a shocking confrontation and an unbelievable ending. Workplace dynamics can be a mixed bag, even in the most professional environments. As someone who's been in a leadership role for a few years now, I pride myself on fostering a healthy, collaborative, and supportive atmosphere for my team. I'm 27, and though I'm one of the younger supervisors in my organization, my track record has consistently earned me positive feedback from both my team and upper management. People seem to trust me, not just professionally but personally as well, and I take that responsibility seriously. However, a recent situation with one of my coworkers, let's call him Brian, 35M, turned into one of the most bizarre and uncomfortable experiences I've ever had at work. It all started about 3 weeks ago when Brian approached me with a serious look on his face and asked if we could speak privately. This wasn't entirely unusual. I have an open-door policy and have always encouraged my team to come to me with anything on their minds. Usually, it's something work-related, a deadline they're stressed about, or a request for guidance on a project. Occasionally, it's personal, like needing time off for a family emergency or discussing how outside stressors are impacting their productivity. So, I didn't think much of it when he asked to talk. We stepped into my office, and after shutting the door, he hesitated for a moment before finally speaking. What came out of his mouth completely caught me off guard. He said he had noticed faint bruising on my face, partially concealed by makeup and my hair, and tiny, broken blood vessels near the corner of my eye. Then he asked, in the most serious tone, if I was in an abusive situation and if I needed help. To be perfectly clear, I am not being abused. My husband is an amazing man, and we're in a very healthy, loving relationship. That said, we've recently been exploring some, let's just say, adventurous activities in the bedroom. Things have gotten a little rougher than usual, and given how easily I bruise, it left a few marks that, admittedly, might raise eyebrows for someone unaware of the context. In that moment, I was floored. On the one hand, I was touched by Brian's concern. It's not easy to approach someone about something like that, and it showed he genuinely cared about my well-being. On the other hand, I was mortified. Explaining the real reason behind the bruises would have required delving into a very personal part of my life, a conversation I absolutely did not want to have with a coworker. I took a deep breath and thanked him for his concern, reassuring him that there was no cause for worry. I even tried to lighten the mood by joking about his keen observational skills being one of the reasons he's so good at his job. But I was firm in letting him know I was completely safe and that nothing sinister was happening. For a moment, it seemed like he accepted my explanation. He apologized, and I assured him it was fine, even appreciated. I left the conversation thinking that was the end of it. To avoid any further misunderstandings, I bought a better concealer and made sure to keep any visible marks well hidden. But I was wrong. Over the next week, Brian's behavior took a strange turn. I started catching him staring at me during meetings, as if he was trying to spot new bruises. He began making pointed comments about women overcoming abuse, giving me these pitying, sympathetic looks, and overall acting as if I were some fragile bird in need of rescuing. It was uncomfortable, to say the least. Finally, I decided it was time to address the issue directly. I called him into my office again and reiterated that I was fine and didn't appreciate the way he was behaving. I asked him, politely but firmly, to let it go and for us to return to a normal working relationship. That's when things got really strange. Instead of apologizing or backing down, Brian launched into a full-blown speech about statistics on domestic abuse, how victims often deny their situations, and how he could help me escape if I just admitted the truth. His tone was so intense and self-righteous that it caught me completely off guard. At that moment, I felt a mix of anger, frustration, and disbelief. Without thinking too much, I decided to put an end to this once and for all. I calmly told him, "If you must know, I have an active sex life with my husband. We like to experiment, and I bruise easily. That's all there is to it. Now, please drop this savior complex, and let's move on." The look on his face was priceless. He mumbled something under his breath and practically bolted out of my office. For a day or two, I thought that would finally put the matter to rest. Unfortunately, it didn't. Brian's attitude toward me shifted drastically. He became cold and hostile, going out of his way to make my job harder. He started withholding important information I needed to complete tasks, removed me from email chains I was supposed to be on, and generally made it clear he was upset with me. That's when I decided enough was enough and went to HR. I explained the entire situation in detail, including my own part in the confrontation. I even told them I was willing to accept any consequences for my outburst, but they assured me I had done nothing wrong. The HR manager, a seasoned professional, said this was one of the most unusual cases she'd ever encountered. 2 days later, Brian submitted his resignation. I don't know what HR said to him, and frankly, I don't care. The whole experience was exhausting, uncomfortable, and frankly surreal. But at least it's over now. It was definitely one of the strangest and most awkward situations I've ever faced in my professional life, and I'll probably be laughing about it, albeit nervously, for years to come.